Hey y'all, this is Esther Alexis. Welcome to season 3 of Body of an Extrovert. I know it's been a while, but I'm so glad to be back on the mic doing what I love with people who inspire and challenge me on a day to day basis. I'm literally just bouncing in my seat thinking of all the great stories and thought provoking conversations that we'll be having this season. But first, we need to address the elephant in the room. Like, where have I been? What's this season about? And what can be expected? Well, hang tight. Your answers are well on their way. Today's episode is titled Full Time Extrovert, where my friend and longtime listener Daniel interviews me in an effort to help me reintroduce myself to all of you. Hopefully, it'll answer your questions or give you a laugh. If you have any more questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to share them in the poll on Spotify or in the comments on YouTube. Thanks. Hey y'all, welcome back to Esther Alexis, Body of an Extrovert. It has been a good long while, but as the good book says, what does it say? It's like all the good things are worth waiting for.
Something like that.
Right? All good things are worth waiting for. Good things come to those who are patient. No, there's an actual verse.
Yes.
What is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Know.
As the good book says, those who are patient will reap a bountiful reward. I don't think it actually says that, but it's kind of along those lines. Y'all see where I'm going with it. I am so glad to be back. I'm so glad that you guys are back. And for those of you who are new, hi, I'm Esther, your host. And for those of you who are regulars, I'm also your guest. Ta-da! So if you are new to Esther Alexis, Body of an Extrovert, here we try to be super authentic, super transparent, and we try to learn and laugh as much as possible. So today's episode, you're going to be learning a bit about me and why you should be investing in this podcast. So here we go.
So what's up? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be back.
Yeah. So what's new in Esther world since the last time everyone has seen me?
I have made this my full-time job. Right? Thank you. Congratulations. The lack of salary is daunting. I go to sleep at night with night terrors. But I feel like this is the best decision I've made in a really long time. And I just feel like I'm really just ready to take this on full-time and make it my whole world and show you guys what that looks like.
So, in the title of your show, Body of an Extrovert, do you consider yourself an extrovert?
I 100% consider myself an extrovert, which is actually funny because I think that people obviously have different definitions for extrovert. Like, I'm obviously someone who is loud, vivacious. I love to just talk to people, explore, but also, like, I feel like ironically enough, like, I feel like extroverts are often considered people who aren't all that thoughtful or considerate, and I feel like I think a lot, I talk a lot, and I like those existential questions, which is why I love this podcast, because I feel like I ask all the questions no one wants to ask, and I get the answers.
All right, so if the life of Esther was a book, what would be, you know that little summary in the back? What would the summary be?
This loud, first-generation Haitian American takes on the world a person, a belief, a statement at a time to tackle its truths, while laughing, eating, failing, getting back up, and having a good time.
Nice. How does your cultural background shape who you are, like your personality, like how you navigate the world?
So I'm Haitian. We're on this little island, the island of Hispaniola. We share it with Dominican Republic. Currently, there are some political crises going on. But it's a beautiful, wonderful country made of people who are resilient, who are fighters. We're like the first Black republic. We freed ourselves from our captors. We did it first. And then we went around the world, you know, trying to help others do it as well, which is ironic because I'm doing the same. I quit my job so you wouldn't have to, right? Like, I'm asking the questions so you don't have to. But on a real note, like, we're all about freedom and independence and unity being the biggest force of change for good. And so I feel like I embody those things. Like I love being Asian. I'm so proud of it.
All right. So, what are some things that people misunderstand about you the most?
I think that people think I'm mean. I do. You're shocked, right? I think people think I am too direct, a little aggressive, a little too confident, and just a little bit mean. And I don't think so. I think that I'm very confident because the world has tried to stomp that out of me, and I just feel like I'm holding on to it till the day I die. I feel like people think I think my don't stink, but I know that it does, and I feel like that gives me the edge because I walk around not hiding who I am or what I do or where I fail. And I feel like that kind of honesty, I think, makes me more relatable to people who want to at least, have a conversation or invest in me.
So, what are things that people accurately guess about you when they meet you or see you for the first times?
That's a great question. Ask it again. Ask it again, please.
What did I say?
You see? Okay.
No, I said, what are some things that people accurately guess about you on first time meeting you? It's like, oh, she seems this or she seems that. What are...
I don't know. What did you think about me when you first met me?
It was funny how I first met you, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You kind of appeared out of
Out of nowhere?
Yeah,
This was like...
I remember that it's so vivid. I was somewhere. We was at Mondes Olivier.
Okay.
And I was on my phone, and then you walked up to me. You had your hands behind your back for some reason.
Okay.
And I just looked up. You were there, and I don't remember what we talked about. But the closer was like, all right, now that we're friends now, we gotta keep in contact.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how I do all right, cool. Yeah. And then look at us now.
You see?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would say that people usually think I'm pretty assertive, and I pretty much walk in there like, you're my friend now. And I'm pretty good about that. I feel like I have a good sense of character, and I think that people think I have a good sense of self. And so I'm like, yeah, I think people think that I'm pretty assertive. I'm pretty loud, which I am, and it's not. I hope it's not the annoying kind of loud. Like I know that people are like, oh, like people are so loud. But to be honest, I think that people are usually, cautious when they meet me, and then they love me and they're obsessed with me, as you should be.
All right. So how would your friends and family describe you?
Loyal. I have high standards, very high standards. Reckless, a little reckless. Like if I want something, I'm gonna get it at any cost, except for, the cost of maybe my integrity. Like I try to keep that one, hold it down. Funny, that reckless part, I think that's the one everyone's sticking to though. But I think that if you're too cautious in life, if you tiptoe through your own life, it gets boring. Like I want to find things out, and I want things now. I want my answers now. I want to smile now. I want to laugh now. Like I like to pull the Band-Aid off things. Like I don't like the whole slow peel. But I would say, and detail oriented. Like I remember everyone's birthdays. I remember what you said 7 weeks ago. I remember what you said 7 years ago. Like I'll hold you down to the word. Like I'll be like, no, the word count was 348. Like I got it.
When's my birthday?
September 18th.
Yeah.
You see, I don't like, see, I'm telling you, I'm like a moving catalog. Like I got it up here. You see, you doubted me. I'm hurt. Wow, and you were gonna show me up in the middle of an episode?
I was just giving you the opportunity to prove yourself right.
All right, well, that would have gone really crazy. Oh, and I exaggerate. Oh my God, everyone will tell you that. I exaggerate to the point in which at some point people were like, these are just outright lies. But I like to think I'm hyperbolic. Like I like to make mountains out of molehills in the best way. Like not like, the Karen way when you go to the grocery store and they don't accept her coupon. I like to just romanticize my life. Like if I trip, I've actually fallen off a cliff. If, you know, someone has touched the back of my car, I'm currently in the ER. Like, these are the exaggerations I make, but I've started toning it back so that people can understand the circumstances at present. I'm doing that for y'all, because I want y'all to know at the end of the day, I'm telling y'all the truth. Just with a little pizzazz.
Right, just a little.
And I'll let you know when I'm pizzazzing it. Like, I'll let you know when there's seasoning in there. I'll be like, before we go forward in the story, you should know I'm pizzazzing this story. So you know.
So let's say Scorsese's making a film about you.
Okay.
What is the movie called, and who's gonna play you?
Oh my God. I think the person that just is gonna play me, there's only two possible individuals just because of likeness. Beyonce, Giselle, Knowles Carter.
Right.
Like, that's one person. We just look alike. Look. We are the same. If not Beyonce, Kyla Pratt. I think right? Kyla Pratt.
Okay.
Why did you say okay for Beyonce though?
Huh?
You said okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay, all right. But making sure you wasn't saying anything crazy. But I think Kyla Pratt, I think she's an underrated actress. Like, her in the beginning of Love and Basketball, they sold that love story, okay? All right, as kids. I think that my God, the diversity. So I think Kyla Pratt for sure. I think Beyonce would probably be busy anyway. But Kyla, like, if she really read the story, the biography, I think she would buy in. I think she'd be interested. And what would it be called? The Baddest That Ever Lived.
Oh.
Right? Or the Tales of an Exaggerator.
Or Body of an Extrovert.
Or Body of an Extrovert. That's a good one. Body of an Extrovert. It'd probably be called that.
Right.
Yeah.
Netflix series coming up.
Yes. I'm here for it.
All right. So this is the era of the podcast. Everybody's podcasting now. You have a lot of channels that are blowing all the way up. So why did you decide to get back into podcasting?
Because my heart never left podcasting, which sounds so cliche and sounds so super cheesy, but the reality is, I just love talking to people, if you haven't guessed it already. One of the biggest blessings of my life has been being able to travel and study abroad and live abroad and talk to people who have lives that are so different than my own. And it made me realize that my reality is not everyone else's reality, and that there is validity in everyone's truth, right? And that there's a story to be told from every single person and a lesson to be learned from them. I'm also a big advocate of, I don't have to live it to learn it. So if I hear someone's story and I feel like it moves me and there is something to be gleaned from that, I take it and walk with it. I think that that's the best way to live life. I think that that's, like, the world is a classroom. So I am excited to be learning in it. And so as I continue to do that, as I continue to have those conversations, those moments, those experiences, I would love to bring everyone along who's interested in those kinds of conversations. And sometimes it'll be sad, and sometimes it'll be inspiring. Sometimes we will just laugh and make asses of ourselves. But I think that that's the best part about humanity, is just learning and failing and getting back up again and trying. I think that one of the worst things that has ever happened is the over-politicizing of everything that we have going on. Like, no one can say anything anymore. You're afraid because you don't know who you're insulting. But I'm like, no one knows everything. There's just no such thing as the perfect, well-spoken person. We're all speaking and living and acting according to our truths and our experiences, and that's not meant to invalidate anyone else's. But I think that this is the only way to do it, is to continue to have these conversations, continue to learn and laugh and talk. And so that's why I'm back in the game, because I think that we live in a society that everyone's like, just don't talk anymore, don't share your true feelings anymore. And I'm like, nah, I think that we can have a difference of opinion and still sit at the table and have a laugh and a drink and a good time.
So was podcasting always the move for you, or did you always want to be in podcasting, or how did that idea come about?
So when I was a kid, I always wanted to be one of two things. I wanted to be an assassin, for one thing.
Right.
Like every 5-year-old girl's dream, I wanted to be an assassin. And I wanted to be Oprah. So it was one of those two things.
Assassin is illegal, so we might.
Right, so I figured, why not Oprah, right? And so I didn't choose that route in college. Like, I am the child of Haitian immigrants, so there are only 4 career paths: nursing, engineering, doctor, or lawyer.
Right.
And I chose business tycoon. For a little bit, I was gonna do law, but then I was like, I don't like lying on people's behalves. Like, if you're a murderer, I'm finna lose that case.
I'm snitching on you.
Like, we're going to lose. I assure you, don't book me. I've always loved talking. I've always loved learning. And so, like, even throughout college, like, I started a podcast. I've done writing. Like, I write anonymous stories. Like, I love talking to people. Some of my best friends now are people I've literally never met, which is insane. Like, we've been writing stories the entire time, and then we just started talking, and then we took it, off email and got onto phone calls and onto audios. So I don't know necessarily that podcasting has always been for me, but I've always known that talking has been, and like sharing the lights that I gain from conversation has been. So it was either talk show host, which no one would hire me. And so I was like, all right, podcasting, I'll do it myself.
All right, so you said earlier that you actually quit your job to do this full time. So where did you find the courage to do it? Or what was your thought process into making this jump?
Honestly, I think that when you're not supposed to be somewhere and what you should be doing. It might not always be end goal. Like, I don't necessarily know that podcasting is end goal for me. But I knew that where I was really unhappy and really unfulfilled. And I would wake up every day. Like, just waking up to go to work was a job, let alone getting there. And having to be someone I wasn't all the time was a job. Like, it felt like it was grinding my soul down to dust being where I was at. And I was like, you know what? This cannot be what God had in store for me. This can't be my story. Like, I didn't want to continue doing something that I felt was killing my actual self. So finally I saved up enough to be like, adios amigos, may we never meet again in this sense.
Right.
And I was like, and so I'm just gonna go out and try. And if I fail, at least I know I tried. And hopefully, if nothing else, it'll lead to a path where I'm a little happier doing something else. But yeah.
So, as a big podcaster yourself, are you watching anybody? Like, who do you watch?
Like, who do I listen to?
Podcast-wise, yeah.
Currently, and this should come as a surprise to no one, y'all know I love Big Mama Michelle Obama. Like, I love her. She currently has her book out, The Light They Carry, so she also has a podcast that goes along with it. That joint, it's like pouring coffee into the soul. I love it. I'm also a huge fan of Shits and Gigs, the S&G podcast. I just think that we need to laugh sometimes. We're so serious all the time, especially with podcasts. They are hysterical. Like, there's not an episode that I have not watched and like just died laughing at. Then there is, I used to listen to But Go Off Sis. They've retired. They're really, really great. They're also from Connecticut. Super, super dope. Then there is, oh Lord, I'm gonna forget it. I think it's the Good Vibes podcast. I love that one. I think that they speak just about holistic truths, and I think that they really touch on matters of the soul. Oh my gosh, and Super Soul by Oprah Winfrey, which should come as no surprise to anyone. So those are some of the, oh my gosh, and Goop by Gwyneth Paltrow. Of all people, I didn't think it was gonna be good. I didn't really mess with Gwyneth before this, but girl, you're killing it. Please don't stop. She's great. And Big Deal podcast by Ashley Graham, also phenomenal. Predominantly women-based, except for S&G. And Black Men Do Talk. They are also really new to the scene. They are great. And the Dear Wifey podcast. I'm so sorry. And the Dear Wife. I love it. I think that I do. I love podcasts. I love just hearing people's stories or hearing people laugh. I feel like it brings you that sense of connection, and it's a great way to like get through the workday. Like I said, like my workday was, it felt longer than it needed to be. So like listening to podcasts would get me through it. Oh my gosh, phenomenal stuff. Check out all of them.
All right, so on your road to 1 million subscribers.
Oh my gosh.
And more.
Hopefully.
Are there any dream co-hosts, dead or alive, that you would have on the show? Give us a top 3.
Top 3? Oh, like, you know what? Here's what I'll list the top 3 for right now. Because I also like having conversations with people that I don't understand. Like, I think right now, someone I woke up and said I wanted to talk to was Candace Owens. I think she's brilliant. She's a brilliant woman. We sit on opposite sides of the aisle politically, but I think she makes me believe that bipartisan conversation could happen. She's also from Connecticut, by the by. So she is from Connecticut, or was here for a good period of time. So Candace Owens is one. I would obviously love to talk to Oprah Winfrey. Like, if I ever had an interview with Oprah Winfrey, hang it up. I'm done. I don't need to work anymore. I can hit the streets and be fulfilled. Like, I'm good. And I would say Kevin Hart. And I say that because, oh my gosh, and Trevor Noah, top 4.
I thought Trevor Noah would have been number 1.
Trevor Noah might be number 1, actually. But I think that the thing about comedians, as someone who is considered jovial and funny myself, there's this running joke, what came first, the depression or the comedian? Because most comedians are depressed. The funniest ones, the most jovial ones. And I think it's because they see life in a different lens, or they see it for what it is. And so I would love to have conversations with people who see life in such a real manner and yet manage to bring humor and light to other people's day. And they're so different, like personality-wise, Trevor Noah and Kevin Hart, that I think that I would listen to them both down at the same time. I'd probably be crying, just weeping with laughter in that room, but they're so different. So I would love to see that juxtaposition happen in real life. So they're like a combo, a twosome, a threesome.
All right, so quick time. What is your favorite color?
I have 2 favorite colors, brown and yellow. Like, I love them. Yeah, so very different, right? Yellow, I feel like, is just so bright. It's so happy. It reminds me that there's hope in the world and things can continue to get done. Brown, because it's so rich. Like, it's so rich. It's so real. It's beautiful.
Not a lot of people go for the brown.
Right? But brown is beautiful. Like, it gives me royalty. It gives me just earth. It's beautiful. Like, I love brown. Shout out to all my browns, by the way. Like, this is not even a cap. I'm wearing brown. I love brown.
You are brown.
Thank you. I am brown. I love brown. I think brown is a beautiful color. It's overlooked, man. It's overlooked.
Are you a foodie? What's your favorite food?
Haitian food. I feel like if you're a foodie, confess. Like, free your soul, confess. Haitian food is, listen, I'm going to say this, and you can at me in the comments. I've been all over the world, okay? And this is not me being biased. I've been all over the world, and there are very few foods coming to us. Like, I'll give it to the Italians. Italians, y'all have the pasta, the carbs. I'm not even gonna lie. The Italians, y'all are really doing the dang thing. I'm gonna give it to my Hispanics or Latinx. Like, y'all are also the Caribbean. Like, stop playing. But
on a whole,
the Caribbean on a whole. Let that feast, like, that's a land of milk and honey. Like, when God is like, be received into the land of milk and honey, he's talking about go to the Caribbean and be fed. But Haitian food, top notch. Top 2, not number 2.
Who's number 2?
I mean, I'm gonna leave that to your viewers' discretion. But if you take nothing away from this episode, try Haitian food.
So what are some foods we should look out for or we should go try?
Diligence, which is like a mushroom rice. It's black rice. We also have goat. The way we do goat, when you get good goat, what? Haitian patties. I'm gonna give a nod to my Jamaicans, but Haitian patties, wow. Yo, like I would say try Glio if you eat pork. There are also turkey versions. Turkey in general, like the way these Haitians do turkey. We have this thing called maina. It's like a fritter. Yo, it's basically if you never want to be healthy again. Like these are all the foods that you should try, and you will get an addiction. And that's okay.
What's the go-to food? What's the specialty?
What's the go-to food? I would say fritai. Like it's kind of a combination of all these fried foods that are absolutely amazing. That's my go-to plate. Yo, probably not on a hot summer's day. Like the oil will stop your heart. Just cold. But that is my go-to. But I'm gonna just honestly no actual go-to. Like go back to the basics. Dili, which is rice, and sauce pois, which is like this bean sauce that we make. We got some legume on the side, which is like this veggie kind of hash we do. There's no potatoes in there. I don't know why I said hash, but it's like a veggie. Right. It's just all these veggies and sauce together. So you have like a plate of rice, some bean sauce, your veggies. You mix that all together, and that's God's grace looking at you in a plate. That's it. That's the truth. Cold facts.
I can attest Haitian food is very good.
Thank you. And he's Jamaican, y'all. So, I mean, take that for what it is.
All right. So you've been around the world. You've been here and there. What are your favorite places to visit, travel?
Spain has a spot in my heart like no other country. And it's definitely because I feel like the part of me I was losing was reborn there. Like, I love it. It's beautiful. You have everything. There's the beaches, the mountains, the cities. Like it's absolutely beautiful. Like I love it. There is no place in the Caribbean I would not go. The waters there, like call me stuck up if you want to. I don't believe in American waters. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is that they have connected to the sand. But the waters in the Caribbean, you can see through it. If I can't see through it, I'm not putting my body in it. That's how I operate. South America, beautiful. Like I just recently went to Colombia, stole my breath, like amazing. And I'm gonna shout out China. Like I've been to China, lived there for a little bit. It was actually a very beautiful country. Politics and everything aside, beautiful country.
Any dream destinations?
Africa. I have not been to Africa yet. I feel ashamed to say that. Like I've not been to Africa yet. It is one of my goals to go and like explore damn near every continent. I might spend the rest of my life doing it, but Africa, just Africa. Like enough said. Like it doesn't even need explanation. Africa.
So if you could pick one spot in the world to retire, where would you retire?
That's a great question. I feel like I haven't seen enough yet. Like I've seen more countries than states, but I've not seen enough to be like I would want to retire here. But thus far, what I've seen, I'll do Spain.
Spain. Okay.
Yeah.
So with yourself being a writer as well,
yeah.
Are you reading anyone right now, or do you have a favorite book?
Right now, I am reading Michelle Obama's The Life They Carry. I'm also reading Viola. I'm really big into biographies right now. Like I love looking into like people. Again, I feel like that's where you learn the most. Like you peel back people's layers. I'm reading Viola Davis's biography. And then there is, oh Lord, I'm not gonna get the title. It's not Caste, but it's very similar to Caste. But earnestly, anything that allows me to understand the human condition and how we all connect at like the molecular and like the macro level as well.
What is your biggest compliment that you've gotten?
The biggest compliment that I have gotten is that for a person my age, I am quite well-founded. Like, I'm like, yeah, like they're like, you're very much on the ground and you have a very good perspective. And I love to hear that because it definitely took work getting to where I am today, and to who I am today. And so it makes me glad that people recognize like that I'm here for real. Like I'm looking for those authentic connections, and I mean what I say and do what I say.
That is very true. I think you're a lot more grounded than a lot of people your age.
Yeah, which is, it's ironic because people would also call me idealistic and a little bit insane, but I'm like, I feel like my feet are very much on the ground. So in the best of ways.
So, if we can go back in time, what advice would you give youth Esther?
If I could go back in time, I would tell her that she might not understand why her journey's going the way it's going, but that she doesn't necessarily see the grander plan. And that just to have faith. Have faith that the little things that you're going through right now that seem so big will create a bigger and better picture, one that you could not have imagined for yourself, and one that you will be just abundantly grateful for.
And how do you see the future you, the 10 years from now you? What does that woman look like?
She is something to be in awe of, honestly. Like I haven't seen her yet, but earnestly, like if she is anything like the stuff of my dreams, I am in awe of this woman. Like I think that she is humility and grace and kindness and truth personified. Like I hope so.
What's the biggest challenge that you're facing in your role or business projects right now, and how are you tackling it?
So I think my biggest challenge for this particular project is starting from the ground up and being consistent. And I think that this time around I'm going to be good at that because I am bringing the whole body to Body of an Extrovert. So if you guys don't know, I do have 4 business degrees. And so some of our episodes are going to focus on financial consulting, which I am also doing this year. Then the body, of course, which houses the heart and the soul. Like we're having those soulful conversations. And then also the legs. We're going to be talking about traveling. Yes, I think my challenge is really just going to be consistent in bringing you guys episodes that I am really just proud of. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so that I think has held me back in the past. But I think now I am just ready to be like, yo, this is just what it is. Some days you're going to love it. Some days you're going to hate it. Some days you're going to laugh. You're going to learn. And some days you might just be like, financial consulting. And I'll be like, yeah, get your credit cards together. Start eliminating debt. We're doing all the things this year.
So with the wealth of podcasts that are around, why should people watch or listen Body of an Extrovert?
Because I think that this is going to be a joint effort. Like it's my podcast, but I want you to feel like it's your podcast. I want you guys to have questions. I want you guys to, if you guys want to see a particular guest, I don't know if I could get them. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see Queen Latifah, I mean, the Queen's going to have to make some time. You feel me? I don't know if I can get her here. But I want you to feel like it's not just my podcast. It's a podcast where you guys can ask questions and have things answered, and we can have real dialogue. And I think that something that I want my audience to walk away with as well is that if nothing else, the truth has been said here, right? It could be my truth, your truth, but the fundamental, the actual truth has been laid here between me and whoever my guest will be. And I also want it to be a safe place where we can have differences, but there is a fundamental level of mutual respect. Like I want this podcast to be that place. Like even if I walk away from the couch, from the table, from the chair, wherever we're going to be filming that day, if I feel like I walked away like, damn, like I still don't see eye to eye to this person, I still want to be able to go and get drinks with that person. And I want people in the audience to feel that way too. Like I want you to know that you can actually share your actual legit opinions here, and you will not be attacked for them. You'll be questioned for sure, but you won't be attacked.
It's giving safe space.
It's giving a safe space to be loud, but not ignorant. It's giving a safe space to be, happy and jovial and honest and respected, most of all, because we all have different walks of life and beliefs, and I feel like everyone is entitled to those things, whether or not we see eye to eye.
So until Queen Latifah gets here, what kind of guests can we expect on the podcast?
Earnestly, I want to bring guests that inspire me, that inspire you all. I want to bring guests that challenge our mundane, everyday way of thinking. I want to bring guests ultimately that will keep you thinking after the podcast. Like those I feel like are the best kinds of guests, the best kinds of conversations.
And how often are you going to be dropping episodes?
I'm going to be trying to drop episodes on a weekly basis. If I go on vacation, I'm going to be letting y'all know, but what I'm going to try to do is line up episodes so that you guys are not left waiting in the wind. I want you to know I'm coming home to you every week, babe. Does
the podcast have like a social media presence outside of the podcast?
Absolutely. We're working on it. we are working on it. You're going to be able to find us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Instagram, probably TikTok. I'm getting into TikTok, Top Tick, whatever you want to call it. I'm trying to keep up with the kids. So we're gonna have what social media presence we need to. We're trying. We're just trying. These things evolve every day. It's social media. It confounds us all.
All right. So as we wrap up this day's episode, any last words you want to give the people? Any shout outs? Anything you're working on?
Shout out to my other podcast, the Girl Sis Man podcast that I host with my good friend Lola. Shout out to my boy Daniel, who is our interviewer today. Round of applause for him. Great work. And shout out to y'all for sticking by me, for those of you that continue to invest in this podcast and tune in and listen. And shout out to those of you who are new. I hope that you guys enjoy the ride. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit turbulent. But if nothing else, it's going to be fun. It's going to be educational, and it's going to be worth it. So tune in. All right, y'all. So that was it for Esther Alexis, Body of an Extrovert. I'll see you next time.